Hey guys and girls, welcome back to the workshop, I guess. We're getting there with this. This was going to be the big reveal video. I don't know if it is. We probably will. We'll see. Need to make a couple of these, which are little rings. Basically, these are sockets to put for this to fit in. Just drop in. That one's the wrong size. We'll try this one. So basically a socket for that to drop in. One for there. And the other one's got a socket as well. So similar thing. So made up some brass, I hope bronze. I hope they're just ordinary bronze solid pieces here, one there and one there. And found some nice 3mm engraving brass, which is probably a bit good for this, but a friend found this at the scrappy, which is awesome. And I marked these out and drilled the 3 holes. Going to set this one up and bore him out. It's probably the easiest, and then afterwards we can trim this to size. I think that's probably the hard part of the job, but something we can do. And then if we put a bit of a recess in there, then we can silver solder that in place and end up with something that's probably fairly nice. So the next thing is to machine this out and machine a recess and cut these to the right length and silver solder them in and cut these to the right length, or cut them to the right outside and then silver solder them in, I think, so we don't disturb our marking lines. And then we're going to set them up in the 3 jaw on the outside here and machine these to fit nicely, fit this in. So that's what we're going to do. Got 2 bits of brass cut out there ready to go. They should be good. So I'll go over the lathe and we'll have a look. So we got this set up in the 3-dog chuck, which is kind of a watchmaking tool. I'm not sure anyone's really ever spent a lot of time messing around with one of these. I'm sure there are people who have. It's a limited tool. It's good for some things. It's okay for this job. First glance you would think this chuck would be ideal for this, because what we're going to do is machine the centre out. So we'll clamp this up here and use the centre hole to set that up, which is all very well and excellent, but there's not a lot of clamping force on that, to be honest. So you're not going to just true pan that in there and pop the piece out in this good quality engraving brass, which is giving us a shaving, you know, something like this. So you're going to end up losing the centre if you do that. So rather than try and keep the piece in the middle, which, I mean, yes, we're frugal with material, but we're not that frugal, I'm just going to machine that with the boring bar on centre there nicely. Sure all that's nice and tight. Just check that circle. We'll get that somewhere near there. So moving on, spent a bit of time and got one of these going nicely. The other one's well on its way. There's a lot of filing to get it to this point, get it looking nice like this. So just a matter of keeping at it, not taking off too much, tidying it up as we go, and they don't look too bad. So it's one socket, it's a smaller one. By the next video I should have the other one done as well, but there's a fair bit of work in these. There really is. So I could wait another couple of weeks filing and messing around in an afternoon or two a week, and end up with another one of these and continue the video. But we might as well press on. This fits in here nice, so this needs some alignment, so it's not this way or this way, so it's straight on, I think. So what I'm going to do is put a little pin in here, probably a little hole in there, and file it out so it's a D shape, and make a matching pin. If we mark that, then get this straight and mark it from underneath and center punch it. We could drill and press a little roll pin in there, and then we'd have a method of sitting that in there so it's lined up, which would be really good. That's the next job. I went and found some hydraulic tube, 8mm hydraulic tube, which is a really nice fit. Now, one of these bits, it said there was a short length the guy had. One of these bits is straight, the other one isn't. Actually, none of them are really straight, so we're going to have a go at straightening these up. See, it's got a bit of a wobble in it there. You can see that. I think most of it's a wide angle lens, but there is a wobble in it. So, I'm going to clean these up, and then this is about 6mm in here, so there's a couple of things we could do. I think it's not going to, there's no way that we're going to manage it once we deburr that to tap that. But might make a little socket and silver solder in the end to hold this. That's the idea. It's a 6mm thread there. So that's the next bit probably. Get these nice and straight, put some pins in these, and we need to work out how long the pendulums are. I've cut the legs by way of cheating. I've actually got a length of 28mm dowel. I've cut 3 bits that are about 800 long, so that should give us about 800 off the floor, and I'm going to put a bit of a nice shape on here and a couple of burnished lines in the same spot on each one, and some sort of a socket to screw into the top, and from there we've sort of got 3 legs without too much effort, I hope. Anyway, pendulum needs to be a little bit shorter than this, 750 on this end, and probably stick up 200mm, so they want to be about 950 long, I think, and there's plenty in those 2 bits. So let's go and cut them. We'll make up a socket and silver solder in it so that we can screw that on, and another one for the other side so we can screw the table on, which is got a screw on here like this. So they're the 2 jobs, or 3 jobs. Let's get and do them and come back and we'll have a talk about what this actually is. So hold on to the end of the video. So disclaimer here, if you were watching this video a little bit further along, just so that you could see how you straighten it, soft hydraulic tube, probably you're wasting your time. I hope there was something else to entertain you. This is almost impossible to get exactly right. I've just basically, you see there's still a bend in the end of this one here. I don't really have an answer to do that, but they're not too bad. They're not perfect, but they'll do. That's them done, cut to length. This one goes about 200 from the end, like so. And this one, ditto, likewise, etc. This one will go on here like this, and a weight on the other end. This little table will go on here like this. So they're the main pendulum parts. I'll put these away somewhere carefully. Now I might make some pieces here now to screw this one, which is, I think it's M6. Goes on there. We want to check that first, and this one too, which is also M6, which goes on there. So two parts basically the same. We'll silver solder them in, and we'll see how it looks then. So this is what I got. This one's the right length for the table. The other one needs to be a little bit shorter in the thread. A little bit of silver solder flux around that. Quite a bit of silver solder flux around that actually is gonna not particularly matter that very much as long as it's well fluxed. Push that back in there. And a little bit of 45% silver because that's easy. And there we go. The secret to silver soldering, the secret to silver solder is to watch your flux. It'll turn black as it gets hotter, and then it'll turn clear. When it runs clear, it's time to put solder on, not before. So that's probably not a bad join there. Not too much wobble in it. We'll quench it out and have a look. It's nearly right round. Bit of a wire brush up. And a rub around with a bit of emery tape, I think. Still hot. I don't know how well you can see that, but it's definitely penetrated all the way around the joint there. Pretty happy with that. Never got too much excess on it. This will get a bit more of a wire brush up as we go, but there we go. That's the table on. Not a whole lot of wobble in it, which is good. This one, of course, goes on here. And we can lock that up about there. So, we've got a pendulum. Very cool. So it's probably time we had to talk about what this actually does. Don't really have an answer. Basically a pendulum here. with a fulcrum on top that's sort of reasonably easy to balance, actually. Surprisingly easy to balance. So that'll have a weight on it, and that runs backwards and forwards. We'll have a table on this one. Which rocks in a circle like so. So on the end of this arm there'll be a weight on this end, and there'll be a pin on this end, and it makes a pattern, and it should make a repetitive pattern, ever decreasing circles, etc, 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 on a piece of paper. So this device is called a harmonograph, or a twin pendulum harmonograph, if we're going to be exact. I think that's what you would call it, and I thought it might be a fun thing to have, but it's been a bit of work getting it to this far, and there's a bit more yet to go. So have a look, Google it up, jump on Discord if you've got any questions, and or leave a comment. I'll try and answer all of them. But this one just swings like this. Another one swings in a random pattern, something like this. So, should be lots of fun. I'm going to make a timber base for it. They won't be quite that far apart, I think, and it's going to have 4 or 3 legs, just so that it sits nice and solid. 1 leg on that end, or 2 legs on that end, and 1 leg on this end. It needs a proper basis bolted in, and I think I'm going to make the legs detachable and everything so that it knocks down and goes in a box for when it's not in use. There's a historical machine that was actually made as a parlour novelty, or a party novelty, and it's a pretty good fun thing. So that's what I'm making as a harmonograph, so it's no longer a mystery. Twin pendulum harmonograph, and the next part we should have this pretty well up and running. We should have a table, we should have this up and running. On the other side we need to etch some letters around here and paint them black just for a decorative, and we need to make some weights. We still need to make the pen arm and some weights, and there's another, because this is sort of a compound pendulum here, there's another piece of screws in the end here with another weight on top, which gives us a sort of a bit more inertia. So there you go. Still a few bits to make, but you're getting the idea, and it's starting to come together, so I'm pretty excited about that. So thanks for watching. It's been a hot minute since I got the last video out, really, and but it's because I've been spending a fair bit of time on this and on other projects as well. Anyway, more soon. Be kind to each other, and don't forget to like and subscribe and all that stuff.